The NBA simply waits for nobody. If you can't be a productive role player on a title contender, either ride the bench, get let go, wait out for a last minute signing, or take your talents overseas. Only 30 teams, 15 men on a roster, the talent level increasing every year. Doesn't matter if you were a number 1 prospect, a top 3 pick, or even made all rookie team. If a player's flaws outweighs their strength, not good enough to start or become the backup, every average player is simply replaceable in the league. With a bad attitude, it will just get some out of the league faster. Before the start of this season, guys like Justice Winslow, insane amount of injuries, teams simply had enough giving him multiple chances. Frank Kaminsky now overseas in Serbia, and Romeo Langford released from one of the most subpar teams, Utah, 4 years in the league, once a household name for the 24-year-old. If Langford never gets another NBA chance, league simply a cold business. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. On to these huge disappointing lottery picks who might be out the league forever after this season. James Wiseman of the Detroit Pistons, who continues to become an absolute travesty, literally playing for one of the very worst teams, giving us all Darko Milicic vibes. Free ring on Golden State, didn't even play the entire 2022 season after 21 more games. Reason why Golden State couldn't get past the Lakers round 2, the lack of size against Anthony Davis. Wiseman easily could have been that guy, didn't need to be that great. As long as he can do the intangibles, rebounds, finish lobs, and set screens, he'd still be there. Trading him, getting back Gary Payton II in return, multiple parties involved, there certainly won't be a farewell party when the 22-year-old finds himself out of a team after this season. If he can't get playing time for one of the worst teams, just trying to find an identity, it's year 4 for the center. James Wiseman simply still has no identity, having all the physical tools, not able to truly dominate on the post like a Joel Embiid, wasted size, can't shoot, no guard nor big man skills, stuck in no man's land, barely played in college, no draft combine, in the once-in-a-lifetime pandemic year, hampered by injuries, ruined his development, 0 IQ, behind Marvin Bagley, Isaiah Stewart, and Jalen Duren, questionable motor, absolutely no sense of aggression, seems to be content collecting NBA paychecks. Does Wiseman actually love the game? Has he reached out to any Hall of Fame bigs this past summer to work out? Even against his former team, 0 resistance or hunger, 11 minutes, 0 of 3, 0 points for one of the most decorated franchises to give up on him so soon, and proving Golden State's point, still 0 fuel for the game, just athletically blessed with the physical tools. At least Marvin Bagley, still under contract for 2025, can score off the bench. Killian Hayes can defend and set up teammates. And Wiseman, what's his go-to? Nobody knows. 86 total games. At this rate, will he even play 100 total NBA games before everybody had enough? The bad reputation, insanely hard to recover from, unless he spends more time in the G League or overseas. 0 awareness, can't pass. If Monty Williams don't give him a chance to show out, James Wiseman could be remembered associated with the word bust over Anthony Bennett. If Wiseman in fact does flame out, will he even play more games than Bennett himself? Mo Bamba of the Philadelphia 76ers. Nobody predicted his career outcome as perfectly as Bill Simmons himself.
And I think Trae Young's going to be really good.
Okay.
And I think Mo Bamba's going to be working here in about 7 years.
The now 25-year-old barely cracks rotation for the Sixers, last man off the bench. The only basketball workout he will get be a prop standing there trying to guard Joel Embiid at practice. 3 meaningless impact postseason games for the Lakers when AD struggling containing Jokic. Darvin Ham didn't even think about having Mo on Joker even for a few possessions. Maybe the only NBA player more famous for his song than anything he's ever done wearing an NBA uniform. Having a near 8-foot wingspan, able to shoot a little bit of threes and block shots. If a young player can't even save their careers playing for a LeBron-led team, they drop their value even lower. Super low motor, looking like one of the classic examples of a 7-footer winning the genetic lottery, doesn't love the game enough to compete at a high level or want to get better, has the talent to make all defensive team, but 0 drive. Many wouldn't even be surprised if Bamba doesn't even go overseas if his NBA career's over in a few months. being the tallest guy on the court, standing at the three-point line, not calling for the ball, not putting in the work in the weight room since getting drafted. At this point, Bamba and Wiseman should play one-on-one game till 21 during All-Star break to see who gets to keep a spot in the NBA for another year. A chance for the biggest Shaq and the Fool one-on-one game ever presented. Only playing 50 games per season twice in his career, absolute no-show. If his basketball skills simply not there, certain things Bamba could control. Where's his muscle mass to become a big body guarding other bigs, from refusing to work out for the Grizzlies before getting drafted? The audacity. Jarrett Jackson Jr. became the guy selected in his class, now an All-Star and Defensive Player of the Year. Also thanks to second pick John Moran, drafted the year after, Bamba could have simply excelled with Moran but stuck in Orlando, backing up Nikola Vucevic, then Wendell Carter Jr., combined with the wrong attitude, the wrong team, and still no desire, not putting in the work to want to be in the league long term. Bamba will likely be remembered for fighting Austin Rivers or just chilling on the bench due to injuries, having a unicorn frame, not adding strength to be a strong presence like a Rudy Gobert. Bamba simply giving too many warning signs. He don't want to be in the NBA bad enough, and nobody will feel bad when he's out the league. Frank Ntilikina, many chances later, many of you probably don't even know what team he's on. Yep, none other than the troubling Charlotte Hornets. Career numbers 4.8 points, 2-2, 37% shooting, nothing more than a backup point with solid D, hasn't played due to a fractured tibia, was playing real well for France, still aged 25, reunited with former rival draft mate and Knicks teammate Dennis Smith Jr., played 47 games with Dallas last season, a Steve Clifford type guy. Still can't shoot, as long as his shot attempts kept to a minimum, could still make a difference. As long as Ntilikina stays in the league, should be getting 1 year minimums rest of his career. Kevin Knock Knock, who's still there? With the Detroit Pistons. From getting sick of James Wiseman, franchise rather give Mr. Fortnite minutes over this generation's Darko Milicic 2 weeks into the season. When it appeared the 24-year-old played his final game as Portland's tank commander, giving another shot with the Pistons, 42 games played for Detroit previously, career number 7.5 points, under 3 rebounds, less than 1 assist, under 40% shooting. From being compared to Otto Porter and Tobias Harris, Kevin Knox's tenure truly embarrassed. Many thinking overseas, we thought he'd be in Paris. 4 total teams played, listed 6'9" in college, just 6'7" in the NBA, being the clear star in Kentucky, even drafted above former college teammate SGA. Just like a few players on this list mentioned earlier, Knox's lack of competitive motor, similar to Wiseman and Bamba, simply weak demeanor, content with sitting on the bench, not giving the team extra energy. The reason he had high numbers as a rookie, allowed to take any shot he wanted on a 17-win team, struggle staying engaged, not confident at all. Once Zion straight up outmuscled him in Summer League, Kevin Knox's career hasn't recovered since. Pistons gonna have another long season ahead. Cam Reddish of the Los Angeles Lakers. No worse way to showcase yourself in the bright lights for the most talked about team. Players desperately trying to save their careers, especially if failing to hit potential game-winning shots delivered by LeBron. First 8 games in purple and gold, many Laker fans thought Cam be one of the biggest deals, signed 2 years 4.6 with a player option, the type of guy who thinks he needs to be in a star role. 4 different teams in 5 seasons, Atlanta, then 15 games with New York, despised by Thibodeau, being Portland's tank commander, averaging a whopping 4.4 points, 20 minutes, under 31% shooting, 2 of 16 from deep, just age 24, from Jordan Paul George comparisons. Reddish much closer to George Paul, having the physical frame at 6'8", 7'1" wingspan, great defensive possessions at times, has the talent and superstar qualities. From being the number 2 prospect the 2018 high school class, if his struggles continues, the clock will keep accelerating, perhaps going to Duke under the 2 highly talented Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett. Reddish deferred at times, had his flaws hidden, could have went to another powerhouse as a number 1 option, super inconsistent, doesn't seem to believe in himself, combined with the injuries, 58 games, the most he's played in a season, not being available enough, Teams don't have patience to tolerate an inconsistent player, erratic with the shot selection, averaging less than 3 rebounds for his career, still having more total turnovers than assists, LA literally making his role a 3-and-D, and even that's not working out. Absolutely won't be handed the keys to make plays next to LeBron from thinking he'd be Paul George, just like if Justice out of the league Winslow thought he was Kawhi Leonard. The NBA level seems to move too fast for Reddish to get himself under control. Many impatient Laker fans believe he won't make it till December, simply can't handle another close game with Reddish in the rotation. Given the Lakers' multitude of early injuries, Taurean Prince missed a few games, to Jared Vanderbilt still hasn't played. Reddish playing heavy minutes versus the Clippers. The more he plays in big moments as a role player and continue missing good looks, 2024 could be the year. Can Reddish out the league for good, or extend another decade being a rotational piece, being in the most pressured environment? Will he end up like Kendrick Nunn or Malik Monk? The choice is his. James Bouknight, still recovering from knee injury, his NBA career playing in Charlotte. Absolutely nothing ain't right. From horrible off-court distractions to getting his 4th-year team option declined, from promising to now irrelevant. Injuries, just 31 and 34 games played each of the last 2 seasons. If his body can't be available, combined with bad attitude already shown, his reputation already diminished, half the teams don't even want to have meetings with him if available tomorrow. Immature and unreliable, a terrible combination, can't shoot, a combo guard with low b-ball IQ and bad outside shooting, truly one of the most disliked players. If there's anybody on this list who will be out the league, nobody will feel bad for the 23-year-old. The poor attitude from the start, there's simply no going back. If Bouknight was on a franchise like Miami or Golden State, perhaps he would have turned out much differently. Chris Duarte of Sacramento, from all-rookie team averaging 13 with the Pacers as a 24-year-old to limited minutes, now 26, looking like one of those players who peaked rookie year. Being injured last season, limited to 46 games, not as good as Buddy Hield or Mathurin. Also Neesmith and Nembhard, the younger guys more suited for Indy's future. When Duarte cools off, struggles to find his role, nothing more than a role player, way better upside than any of the guys on this list. If there's one guy from this video who will end up on an NBA roster come 2025, my bet's on the 6'6" knockdown shooter who played excellent in Indy when Sabonis is still there. Josh Primo of the LA Clippers, the now still 20-year-old, absolute travesty behavior in San Antonio. Clippers give him a chance when looked like he drew away his career for good from the team, trading for Mr. Strip Club James Harden. Primo will need plenty of private room service at those venues as long as he pays up. Seems like a huge gamble, only a desperate team looking to make. Suspended 4 games for conduct detrimental. The former 12 pick needs to be on his best behavior, grow up, act like a professional, and play ball. If any of the Clippers female staff feels any uncomfortableness towards him, more lawsuits could be waiting to happen. Primo must conduct himself appropriately, or else this is his last chance to learn from the poor actions. Honorable mentions include Jackson Hayes, possibly Chris Dunn off to a slow start for struggling Utah, Lonzo Ball, whose knees might force him to retire early, we all hoping for the best, Dennis Smith Jr., nice turnaround last season, but also a slow start. Non-lottery pick Kai Jones might already be out the league for good, doing okay so far. Killian Hayes a team option this season, looking like he'll remain in the league after year 4. Which one of these lottery picks do you guys think was going to be a star? Who's the biggest disappointment from this list? Let me know in the comments down below. See you next time.